What's up? What's up? We good to go ahead and kick it off here in about 1 minute?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, let me know. I guess once the little recording's ready, and I'll do a little introduction.
Yes, sir. We are live. What's up?
All right. What's up, folks? It's Bobby and Nate again with Voltage, and this is another one following up the Wednesday series we said we want to start doing, talking lightning. Last week we had a little traveling to do, but we're back again this Wednesday. We're going to be doing it at this consistent time. But the topic this week we wanted to talk about was building on lightning, some of the cool projects that are out there, what's coming down the pipeline, what are you working on, what are you playing with? And it's going to be an open discussion, so feel free to raise your hand and come chat. One of the key things, kind of the inspiration behind these groups, is it's not something where we want to come here and shill voltage, but we want to create more open forum and just like transparency and community for people to chat and connect and talk lightning. So we can dive in. Anything on your mind initially, Nate, or any projects you want to kick it off with?
Yeah, I think this is a real. I'm actually really excited for this topic because I'm not a developer. I wish I was, but some of these things that people are building with Lightning are amazing, and I've got a whole list here in front of me, so I could rant about this stuff, but I'm hoping that folks will sort of hop up and tell us what they're excited about, or if they're building anything, and then we can kind of look into it. I think this is a really cool way to discover projects that are being built on Lightning. I feel like a lot of developers that are building stuff on Lightning are pretty modest, and I think that a lot of projects deserve a little bit more airtime, so to speak. So, but yeah, I got a list here. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I guess until someone raises their hand, there was one. I don't have a list, maybe like you do, but one of the things that's on my mind is I've been playing a bit more with some of these value for value apps where you basically, whenever you find something good, you can tip or just gift someone sats. Like what I've been mainly playing with and enjoying is Fountain and Stacker News. I just think it's super fascinating, and I can see in the future how there could be like a Wikipedia that's lightning based, where you get tipped for like creating good content. And I can just see how that could really take off. But I've been really having a good time with Fountain, using that app and just onboarding a lot of friends. And I know they're doing a ton of things behind the scenes that are going to be rolling out over the next couple of months, which is exciting.
Yeah, Fountain's real slick because it's sort of like an overlay over Spotify if you want it to be, right? I had a little bit of time playing with it recently, but it's really cool. I recommend anyone to try out Fountain if you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, and I just heard someone told me today that whenever they logged in, Fountain gave them like 1,000 free sats or something, and it kind of, you can use it to like kickstart streaming sats to people and like paying content creators. But pretty sweet. What's up, Brian? Hey, welcome up, man.
A fellow shadowy supercoder, I believe.
Yeah, Brian of London. What's up, man? You're muted right now. Did you want to share something?
Let's unmute. I'm in a car, so if it sounds terrible, I'll duck off again. But yeah,
You're
I
good.
joined Voltage. I joined Voltage today. I've been building stuff all to do with podcasting 2.0 for a few months now, uh, and interfacing with Hive. I know, don't worry, it's another blockchain thing. But this whole business of value for value is absolutely critical, and Lightning is very important because of the low fees. And other than the hassles I've been having with nodes and hardware breaking, which is why I just started up a voltage node tonight, because I spent the whole day messing about with an Umbrel and broken SD cards and stuff. So I'm really hoping that voltage is going to be better for me to build something kind of that I can really share. But yeah, looking forward to getting that going. Um, and what I'm actually doing is converting from Hive into Lightning and Lightning into Hive, because there's there's about four or 5,000 Lightning enabled um, podcasts on the value for value system right now. But the little secret behind that is that about 2.5 or 3,000 of those I put there, because they're all video channels on something called 3Speak, and I handle the sats for those. So yeah, there's a lot coming, a lot coming.
I love the vision. Like that's awesome. Um, the having the ability to send not just quick payments, but small instant free ones, relatively free, is just incredible. Like worldwide, the amount of things that you could build is incredible. So that's really cool, Brian.
Yep. Anyway, thanks. A lot of stuff to build.
I
But
I I,
yeah.
I hope that voltage helps smooth some of those corners for what you're building.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was building something, and I've been building it all sort of within my home, basically, and I just got to the point where I'm sharing. I've got a method to expose invoices out into the world, but I don't like how I'm doing it, and I really I have to have a node that's public, um, and and yeah, Lightning is a bit of a fiddle. I've got to say, I develop on two things because I'm developing on the Hive blockchain, which is super easy because it's got no fees and very quick, and it's got an easy developer, and I don't have to think about all these channels and stuff. But what Lightning brings is this ability to have these wallets all over the place. That the way Lightning works for small wallets on phones, inside apps like Fountain and stuff. There's nothing else like it that I've seen. So there is a combination, which is what I'm combining two different things, because I think on the receiving side for podcasters, actually receiving sats on their own node is beyond most people. Keeping a node running with their channels, with the liquidity in the right places, and all of that stuff, I don't think that's going to be a mass market thing uh, soon.
Yeah,
But
I think over time that should be softened around the corners, automated a little bit, hopefully. But yeah, we're still definitely early days where it's nice and tough, so to
yeah,
speak.
yeah, it's a struggle learning. I mean, I've been on this for like 9 months now, learning how to open channels at the right time so you don't get whacked with too much fees, and who to open channels to, and the sort of the dark art of channel fee pricing and all that stuff. So you open a channel and go to bed, and then in the morning the sats that you thought that you would have for outbound have all snuck off somewhere because somebody routed 1 million sats through you and you didn't change your fees, that kind of stuff. Anyway, it's
Yeah,
stuff, it's all learning.
very cool. Um,
All right.
cool.
Thanks for having me on. I'm gonna mute. Bye bye.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Cool.
Um,
And on that note, before you kind of dive into your list, I know you've got a pretty extensive list, Nate. One of the things that I think is going to start coming to like these apps in the future that I'm eager to be built out. I know it's early, is like imagine like for on the podcasting app, if you're someone who's an avid listener of podcasts and you have like a good reputation and track history of sharing very key clips, you might be able to receive value even as a consumer because you refer new listeners to let's say a small podcast, right? Like I refer someone to Marty Bent's podcast, and my audience is a bunch of legacy finance dudes, and they like it, and it leads to more listeners and subscriptions for Marty. Marty could say, "Hey, out of my 43% that I make in Fountain, which is what his percentage is right now, and he divvies the rest across his team, I'm willing to give Bobby, 0.1% of that or 1% of that 43%," and it creates like a waterfall incentive structure where people can actually earn for doing good things and being a good consumer. So there's Michael Saylor says you can like pay to reduce spam and like make everything a lightning invoice, but you don't necessarily need to do that. You could just kind of like Breeze and Fountain does. You can't necessarily stream one sat. Anyone who uses the apps, they send it in like 100 sat batches. You could do the same thing where if you refer enough people over every week, you might get a small deposit of sats into your account because you're actually a good economic actor in sharing value and passing it forward to an audience that may not hear it. So I'm pretty bullish on the idea of that.
I was thinking about this the other day. Wouldn't it be, I don't know how this would work, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. It'll only take a second. What if there was a sort of like a router firmware built with Lightning so other people can connect to your Wi-Fi or whatever and stream sats for the Wi-Fi connection? And you can like hook up your neighborhood to that or something. I don't know. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I know we have a lot of new people here. This is an open discussion. We're just talking about everything being built on Lightning, what cool apps are out there right now, what's coming in the future. And if you're building something, feel free to raise your hand.
I see Chad in the audience. I know he is building something, so if he doesn't mind, I'm gonna invite him up. We will see. I'm gonna give him a second here. If not, I'm gonna talk about it. But anyway, when he comes up, he can take over. So Chad has built this interesting sort of Lightning app called Satbox, satbox.tv, where it's essentially a Lightning enabled jukebox powered by YouTube and Twitch, where you basically just paste in a YouTube link and specify how many sats you want to pay to play it. And depending on how much sats you pay, you could jump over people that are on the playlist. So if there's like 3 videos in queue for like 500 sats each, and you link a YouTube video and pay 600 sats, you will go above them. And it plays the YouTube video up to 5 minutes, and then it cuts you off. So he posted a couple weeks ago about it, and we actually had some pretty. I mean, some people didn't do just music. Some of them are pretty funny, but I think it's a really really cool idea, and I'd be interested to see more of that sort of music on Lightning sort of get developed. So Chad, if you're out there, let me know, and we'll pull you up if you want to talk about it.
That's super interesting. That could create even like a bidding or auction service for marketing and advertisements, like during online shows. Like you could see like the live bidding, which would create a more transparent structure of advertising. But I'll let Chad speak.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that. I was on my laptop, so I had to open it up on my phone. Yeah, so I missed what you were just saying, but I guess I could just start from the beginning. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, go for it.
My name's Chad. Been building something not so serious, mostly for fun. It's my first Lightning app called satbox.tv. Yeah, how I originally announced it and described it to people was simply just as a lightning powered jukebox. But more generally, it's just a live stream that plays viewer chosen content. So right now, it broadcasts a live stream to Twitch TV, and the content is just YouTube videos. So yeah, the way it works is the viewers can just add a YouTube video to a queue by attaching some sats to it and making a Lightning payment. And the video in the queue with the highest amount of sats attached to it is played next on the live stream for like 5 minutes. So yeah, it's pretty simple. It's all automated, and it can be kind of fun if there's enough people in there, because you could it's kind of gamified. If you want to mess around with people, you can just snipe like a meme video in there or something. And it's since it's on Twitch, it's integrated with the chat room, so you can respond and see what people think of the videos you're playing, whether it's a song or something funny. But yeah, it's pretty simple. That's mostly it.
Yeah, it was pretty funny when we had a few people in there doing it a couple weeks ago. Like people were playing the first 5 minutes of like the Honey Badger
Oh
documentary.
yeah.
Just like I was enjoying watching it on the side, just people posting stuff. It was pretty good. But I think this sort of projects are really cool, and I hope people kind of try it out more.
Yeah. Thanks. There's a couple more things I want to do to it. Right now I've been running the stream like live 24/7. So I think I'm going to cut it down and maybe like build it around a schedule to try and get more people in there at specific times. And yeah, just trying to make it fun and maybe have
Yeah.
something for,
If
yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, if you have a thing where it's like Thursday is Satbox night or something like that, I would totally like,
Yeah.
yeah, spread the word and participate. Like that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. So I'm thinking of doing some stuff like that and just figuring out some more ways to make it fun and, try to onboard some gamers into Bitcoin. That's the goal.
I love it.
Nice. All right, Nate, dive into some of the topics you had at the list. What did you have today?
Okay. So I tweeted, what are some projects that people think are cool? And someone uh, posted something called RoboSats, which is I thought was interesting. I don't know how like safe or whatever it is, but I actually tried it out yesterday. So RoboSats is a Tor site that is basically a peer-to-peer exchange, and it uses some cryptography or something, and you can say that you want $50 worth of Bitcoin. You get matched. There's an escrow part of it, and unlike BISC, it's like after you get matched, you sort of one-on-one negotiate how you want to get paid. So you can, yeah, I guess it's on the down low through Tor. So it's kind of cool. It's called RoboSats. Um, they have a GitHub, but I think it's really cool to see more of these sort of peer-to-peer sort of exchanges coming out.
Did you find that on that kycnot.me website we were chatting about the other day?
No, it was I did not find it there. It was someone responded to it on my tweet. Let's see if I can find it, but it was
Oh, cool. Yeah, the kycnot.me website, they basically go through like the anonymous exchanges, and RoboSats is number 3 on that list.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
right behind BISC and BlockDX. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was a lot of people using it, but I thought the UI and stuff looked real clean. So I might put up an order and try to buy $50 worth of Bitcoin or something at some point on there. So at this point, I'll just say again, like if anyone in the audience has caught wind of a cool project that they've found or are building or just kind of want to give a little airtime to, feel free to raise your hand. We'll let you up. Um, but yeah, RoboSats. It's interesting. All right. Did you have anything else? I mean, I could keep going through there, Bobby.
Yeah, let's work through some more of the ones you had.
All right. So I'm a gamer. So for those that don't know, there's two relatively well-known, I think at this point, Lightning gaming businesses, I guess. There's Thunder Games, which has some pretty cool mobile games. It's THNDR Games. And they keep coming out with new mobile games where you can earn sats by playing games, which is pretty fun if you're, bored at an airport or something. And then there's Zebedee, which is building integrations into existing games, as well as experimenting with sort of if the video game's interactive, having a greater audience impact on the outcome, such as paying sats to drop a power up for another player, that sort of thing. So those are some gaming stuff being built on Lightning, which have been around now for a little while. But if you keep tabs on them, they are constantly coming out with new stuff. So if anyone out there wants to check that out, it's Thunder THNDR Games and then Zebedee ZEBEDEE. And that was next on my list.
So Thunder Games is dropping a new Snake game, like the old Nokia phone, either later today or tomorrow.
Right.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
That's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to that one. One cool thing about Zebedee, they were at the Atlanta Bitcoin conference, and it was really cool how you could basically bet sats whenever you were playing Counter-Strike, and they even had a like a Mario Kart variation, where as you drive around the course, you can earn sats, and we were earning maybe like 13 to 20 sats every race, which is pretty cool. You know, if you're gonna play a game that's like highly addictive, it's nice to get a little bit here and there.
Yeah, that was an awesome conference. I really am excited to see what Zebedee comes out at the next conference they're at for sure. Sorry, if no one has any comments on Lightning video games, I'll move to the next one. I'll give it a second here. Okay, so the next one's kind of been around for a while, but the category would be chat on Lightning. So the most pronounced chat app on Lightning is Sphinx Chat, and I'm sure most people have heard of that. But there was Juggernaut was a really cool chat app, and then Sphinx Chat. I'm pretty sure uses a key send. I won't go too big into the technicals, but it allows you to send encrypted messages over Lightning to your friends or a group. And then I think Impervious is also working on some chat-based application on Lightning. That actually, I'm really curious to see what Impervious is really hyping up their browser. I guess I'll just pivot to that real quick. So, Impervious is a company building a Bitcoin Lightning native web browser with chat, like video chat, and pay with Lightning tools and stuff built into it. So they're kind of hyping that up, and I think we're going to get a announcement probably at the Miami conference about that. Have you heard of that, Bobby?
Yeah, it's going to be announced there, and I hear things are moving along really nicely. So I'm pumped to use that. I'm signed up. I haven't gotten a beta invite yet, so I don't know if anyone is testing that's maybe on like the early beta, but I'd love to hear more.
Yeah, I hope it is at least half of what they say it's going to be. Because if it's at least half of what they say it's going to be really cool. So Stacker News, I think, is pretty underrated, but it's still pretty popular. But if you go to it, so Stacker News lets you sort of register your node and link articles and stuff and receive tips. So, sorry. If you go to stacker.news, you could pay sats and receive sats for it's basically sort of like a billboard. But it's really you can comment on other people's posts, and it's a really good place to get Bitcoin news actually from sort of all kinds of Bitcoiners talking about developments, news, privacy, and various other topics. So if you're looking for like Bitcoin news, I wouldn't go to Google and type in Bitcoin news. I would just go to stacker.news and just kind of skim through, and you can read a bunch of cool articles about what's going on in Bitcoin.
Is anyone in the crowd using Stacker News? And if you are, I'd love if you raised your hand and maybe shared some insight. I'm really excited for some of the stuff they have coming down the pipe, but is anyone using it by chance right now? We can.
Bobby, I'm gonna leave you for like 1 minute, dude. So it's yours for a minute.
Cool, no worries. Well, yeah, I'll riff a little bit until you get back. One thing that I was kind of mentioning earlier that I know it's pretty premature, but when you think about what Saylor was talking about on some of his prior podcasts, where he said in order to send a tweet or to register, you need to pay satoshis, and there needs to be a cost to every decision that's made. I'm actually really excited for the fact of not just a cost to register an account or to leave a comment, but also the reward that users can have for doing the right thing, like sharing content, and then it goes viral based on the fact that you shared it. Because if you think about it, whenever there's a shared tweet on Twitter, like if you've ever looked at your analytics, say you share something and then Lynn Alden retweets it, or maybe Bitcoin Magazine engages, you can actually um, tell where those impressions came from based on who engaged. And for there to be an incentive structure built in to where users who share quality content, or if you do things that actually compel other users to engage with a certain business or individual, that certain business and individual could just kind of waterfall and like pass down some of the sats they earn to you for playing a role in their discoverability. And that takes it a step further than simply like paying to take an action. It's like now you're getting rewarded for doing the good action. So I think that's going to be really interesting from a user perspective. And you can think about Wikipedia. I've read statistically how there's like 2 to 3% of people on the entire web that manage Wikipedia. The other 97 to 98% of us, we're actively using it. We're not actually adding value, editing, creating new pages and whatnot. So that's unfortunate because we all know how incredible Wikipedia is, and I couldn't imagine how valuable and more informative it could be if we had, let's say, 4% or 5% of internet users updating it and maintaining it. Information would be more accurate and circulating, and the impacts that could have on education among other verticals online would be pretty exciting. But
I mean, it would be so cool for Wikipedia to, instead of, and I appreciate everyone that works on Wikipedia and stuff. But like every now and then you go and they're like asking for donations and stuff, and it's like, well, I wouldn't mind paying a few sats here and there, if micropayments were a thing, but I'm not going to just throw $100 at you. Um, I really like that idea. But the thing is, too, is it's not just like, oh, you go to a page, you have to bring out your phone, you have to scan an invoice, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, you could have a little account, it's like 5,000 sats in your account, and it just kind of bleeds out, the more you use it. I don't know. I don't know how that would work exactly, but I really don't like how current donation systems work.
yeah. Well, cool. Well, yeah, no one raised their hand about using Stacker News. We can always come back to that. What other projects did you have written you wanted to run through?
Yeah, we're getting through these quick. So crowdfunding is in the news. Well, it's kind of dying out, but we got a few crowdfunding apps. We got our BTC Pay server, the legendary project BTC Pay server, Tallycoin, everyone knows about now, and then Geyser Fund, which is sort of a new project coming out that is apparently trying to make it even simpler. And so yeah, it's Geyser, like Old Faithful is a Geyser fund. I think their website is up, but I think if you wanted to do a crowdfund with them, it's not automated yet, so you have to kind of like email them, I guess, and ask them to put it up. But hopefully they'll have the tools to be able to do that soon. I really would like to see more Patreon sort of clones, right? So it's not just a crowdfund; it's sort of like a tiered thing where you pay 100,000 sats a month and you get these exclusives or whatever. um I think that would be really cool. And I think I still pay one person $10 a month on Patreon because I love their stuff. I don't know if anyone else has used Patreon before, but I think it's pretty cool. The only downside is, they take a cut, which we need to make this open source, and so they don't take a cut.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up like paying someone X amount monthly. I was talking with Kyle, who's in the audience, one of our team members, earlier about the value for value stuff. And one of the things that's interesting is right now a lot of the apps don't give you just in your settings an option to say which content creators or which podcast shows do you want to just automatically send X amount of sats or dollars on the first of the month or define your day. That would be kind of cool to give people that option. But part two, you could say, if you want to stream them sats every time you load an episode, set a default amount. Or then in the show, like say you're already paying them something, or maybe you're not giving them anything in either of those two buckets, just having the ability to gift and tip them as well. Like whenever users can like customize that per show across like their podcasting apps or even on other services, being able to do that on Twitter, like all these dudes who like create some of the best memes that go viral, I'd probably give them, 1,000 sats a month or, 2,000 sats a month or something. And if, 500 people did that on their following list, that could go a pretty long way as far as like supporting them to do what they do for just, an online community. So things like that are really interesting. And then obviously being able to tip over Twitter. I know that like it's linked to like your Strike wallet, and I know you're of the camp, Nate. Like Strike's obviously like KYC. It's going to be much easier to just receive directly to Lightning addresses. So having all of these options natively, we're definitely in the premature stages, but it's going to be exciting whenever you do have all those options available to you as a user to customize how you want to send and receive these payments.
Yeah, I mean, when that came out, it was definitely exciting, and it's even more exciting for the folks who use Twitter with their actual name and their actual everything, because then it doesn't even matter. But like the poor Nims on Twitter don't get to play that game right now. But you can always make a BTC Pay server donation page and just link it in your little profile and just say, hey, that's my donation.
Right on. Well, kind of shifting from the value to value thing, I've kind of talked to Bob on our team about this in the past, and I'm trying to wrap my mind around it more. But one thing I think will be very interesting as far as monetizing content and like say for original content creators who maybe make video and they want to use a popular song. So, for example, I made a YouTube video of my family and I put a commercial song on my YouTube video. And whenever I put it on there, it said, hey, this is copywritten, Bobby. You are not allowed to use it. And in my mind, I'm thinking, there's going to be 30 people who watch this. I don't have $10,000 to pay the artist. And one thing I think would be really cool is because there's technology that can read sound files and wave files very easily. We could have an AI like identify that and then say, okay, Bobby, as a user, the artist, every time it's listened to, they want to charge 30 sats. So if I could load my Lightning wallet with, as many sats as necessary and say, yeah, I'm willing to pay for this song to be used in my video, and every time it's heard, I'll pay 30 sats. Because if it gets listened to 100 times, great. Every time above that, maybe it removes the audio file or it simply won't load because I'm not paying my dues. But it gives me the ability to then stream that song and pay the content creator originally. So if there's a big artist like Taylor Swift, they might say, no, I'm not going to do that. Or to use my song, you have to pay 2,000 sats every listen. But where I think this is incredibly valuable is if there are independent artists who make great music that they want to allow anyone to use. Imagine, me making a video and I wanted to use it, let's say on like that family video on YouTube. I could then put that song in my content and be willing to stream that artist's sats for me using it. And instead of having like this big like hurdle you have to jump through of like paying X amount of dollars to use it, kind of like you have in a movie. Like if you want to use a Zeppelin song in a movie, you might have to pay them like $500,000. You could do it on a per play basis. And what this does is it syndicates songs and information and just intellectual property in a more unique and micro way where it can be more discovered, and it allows people to get paid at a smaller scale. And I think that would be a really creative way, and just the artistic world and just the creative world, how intellectual property works, for there to be more use cases and just payments flowing directly to creators. Hopefully I explained that well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking you could also kind of do it the other way, maybe, where the person who watches gets the choice at the beginning to hear the song or not, and if they want to hear the song, then they pay the invoice or something.
Yeah.
You can have it both ways. If you're a cheapskate,
Yeah, I love the idea of, like, if I'm like, and say you made an independent movie film, it's like, how YouTube has timestamps where you can jump to like certain chapters in the description to the content area you want to
Yeah.
see. Same thing in the movie. If you watch the first half of the movie and you don't make it to the second half, you don't pay the person who owns the song in the second half. You just pay for what you actually hear and engage with. In advertising or marketing, they call that like an impression, when you see the ad or like when you hear that commercial. So it's kind of the same idea, but broken down into like a micro way. So that's going to be very powerful long term. It just depends on like the possibility of that happening.
Definitely. I think it probably will, and I think Bitcoin TV's really got a good thing going. So maybe they'll be integrating something like that soon. I think that platform has a lot of promise. For those that don't know, Bitcoin.tv is a it's a peer tube open source based YouTube clone for Bitcoin stuff, basically. And I highly recommend Bitcoin.tv. It's pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure they're looking at putting Lightning tips and stuff integrating it with Lightning soon.
Very cool. Right on. All right, what was next on your list, Nate?
Oh, I gotta be real here, man. That was about all I had. Um,
That's good.
yeah, it's about all I had for now. I mean, we could talk about sort of like what we'd like to see in the future, where we think things are going, or if anyone in the audience has sort of like an idea of something that they wish maybe would be developed and they don't think it is being developed right now. Maybe we could talk about cool ideas like that. Um, but yeah, what were you saying?
I'm excited to hear more about like innovations that are happening on like mobile Lightning wallets. I know there's kind of it's easy to onboard people to things like Wallet of Satoshi because it is custodial. Like the experience on those are pretty good. Like there was an event this last couple of weeks. I can't remember where it was, but custodial wallets were functioning well, but non-custodial ones were struggling to maybe send like certain transactions. I don't know if anyone in the audience maybe could speak to that a bit more, but I'm really excited to see like better innovation on the non-custodial wallet side, if that's a topic we could dive into.
Yeah, well, while we see if anyone wants to come up for that, I'll just say that I think everyone understands that non-custodial is sort of the goal. It's just this darn trade-off of the way channels work and bandwidth, and having a node running on your phone would probably consume a lot of bandwidth and a lot of battery power. Uh, I know Lightning Labs had a mobile app for a short time there that was testing out something like that. It's not being developed on anymore, I'm pretty sure, but those sorts of things are probably going to get better, I think, as time moves on. They'll be more lightweight. Channels could be more, I don't want to say hidden, but basically hidden, so you don't have to worry about that as much. I think that maybe some projects that are utilizing the Lightning Development Kit might be building stuff like that. I don't know of any off the top of my head that would allow non-custodial use of Lightning on mobile, but not require channel management. Maybe something like Sensei for mobile. For people that don't know, Sensei is this it's sort of a fresh new development Lightning implementation that allows you to essentially run a Lightning node, but have multiple child, they call it child nodes, as part of the primary Lightning node that you can allow friends and family to use your channel so they don't have to manage any of that, which is kind of a cool concept. So definitely keeping an eye on Sensei for that. But I think maybe something like that would be pretty cool for the mobile world.
Definitely.
But yeah, I know there's a lot of other projects out there though. I just trying to think what else is there. Chad, is anything on your radar? You're still up here with us. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
uh, yeah, one thing I thought was pretty cool that came out like a month ago was it's called Pleb Pay, and it's built on that Strike API. Um, One thing that came to my mind when I used it was potentially refactoring that app a little bit and making it, of course, because I'm on the topic of streaming and gaming, but to make it like a website where you can queue up and post an offer to play against like a professional gamer or streamer, for example, in a round of chess. So they can pick and play viewers from the chat live, and um, that would work with the pleb pay type setup. So that's something I want to see, and maybe I'll hack together in the future for fun. But also, you were talking about the value for value and being able to help artists get their content shared and actually deliver them the value that they can get and not have to deal with all this copyright type stuff. I think it's a big deal in the Twitch world. I think last year there's like a pretty big reckoning where big streamers were getting banned because there was copyrighted music being played in the background of their streams, regardless if it was coming from themselves. It could have been something small like the neighbor driving by playing some copyrighted music in their car and it gets picked up on stream. So I think Lightning and this value for value thing can really fix these sorts of situations. I think it's pretty unfortunate for smaller to medium sized artists who they deserve the compensation, but due to these copyright issues, their music just isn't getting shared. And I think that's obviously something very important to them too, like getting their music out there. And it can't really happen when you have um, things set up the way they are today. So yeah, just a couple of thoughts.
Yeah. I remember I used to make tons of music from like 2009 to like 2016, and I remember registering my songs with like ASCAP or all these, music companies. It's been forever since I've done it, and they say when you hit enough listens at $25, you can cash your money out, and I'm just kind of like, I just want to get access to my cash the moment I earn it, like it sucks. There's like these walls and like numbers, and obviously they're taking a chunk, but I think that's going to be one of the more important innovations personally. And if I had the technical know-how, I would immediately try to build that for the music industry, because I think like Chance the Rapper, like there's a guy named Tom McDonald on YouTube who's very viral. Another dude named Bryson Gray who's like very kind of bold on Twitter, and they're doing things themselves, not using record labels, and they're getting big plays. And I think that inspires people alone to like do it themselves. And I think if you can just put the money in their hands more where they can do it themselves and have the autonomy to be in not only creative control, but to get capital faster and easier, it's going to be an absolute game changer for creativity in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. It looks like Michael's here from Oshi app. I want to invite him up because I know he's got some cool game plan and stuff just going on, like from Miami. like getting Oshi app utilized down there, and he's got some traction in Texas. I know. I think I saw Marty like using Oshi app or something, like buying some local beef, and there's been some block parties using. So if you are available to chat, Michael, feel free to hop up.
It's funny because that's one app that I am absolutely a fanboy over, and I totally did not put it on my list for some reason. But yeah, dude, Mike, I see Mike all the time in Austin. So if you want to tell us about Oshi, Mike, feel free to raise your hand, or we'll send you an invite, or I can just explain it. But I'd rather you do it.
Yeah, I can chat a little bit about it, I guess, until he comes up. But anyone who's not using Oshi, it's pretty sweet. Like as a consumer, you can download the app and then just check locally what deals around you, what small businesses around you are willing to give you Bitcoin back for coming in and shopping. And it's as simple as you get a gift card, essentially like just a deal to that business, and you can go in and make that purchase, and the business will say, hey, you get this percent sats back. And what's really cool from a consumer perspective that I like, because I love whenever applications are gamified, kind of like Fold. Like if you referred people to Fold, now that they have this, every time someone swipes their Fold card, I get paid. Like in the last week, I've made 1,300 sats just by referring people 2 years ago to Fold. And Oshi's kind of the same way, but it's a little better where you as a consumer, if you refer businesses onto Oshi app, you can earn like a very small fraction passively on all the purchases done at that business. And there's like an incentive model that if you're an advocate for the brand and for those businesses, you can earn a little bit too. But it's pretty great. Like what I would really love to see happen is like everyone's going to Miami, 35,000 people next month, right? Like if we could get 10 to 20 businesses around the conference onloaded or onboarded to Oshi, you could just flip open the app, see what businesses around there want to support Bitcoiners. And it's like, yo, come grab a burger, get 15% back in sats. And it just like gets Bitcoin back to everyone who shops. And the thing that's really great about this is if you've noticed, like Lolly and Fold, they're really focused on bigger companies, bigger uh, providers. And there's a lot of organizations, there's like 3 providers out there that give you access to like these gift card networks. So if anyone wanted to spin up their own Fold or Lolly or things like that, like there's partners you can partner with that give you access to that. So there's tooling out there for big businesses, but there's not one out there for B2C, like getting small businesses onboarded. It's something that's literally never been done. So it's pretty cutting edge, and it's a big problem that could be solved. But I'm personally passionate about this because at my last job, like I've managed marketing for small businesses for like 10 years. And, 60, 70% of businesses in America are small businesses. It creates most of the jobs in our communities. And whenever you can have, a Bitcoin circular economy at a very local level, you're keeping money in your community. You're not exporting money to a Walmart who's then sending it to China. You're not sending money directly to Visa and MasterCard. You're keeping it on a local level, empowering small businesses and rewarding consumers for being a part of that Bitcoin circular economy. So if there was like an application that, was one that really like gave back like to local communities, it's definitely, Oshi in my mind.
Yeah, I think when I talked to Mike about Oshi a little while ago, it was like what really kind of blew my mind was up until this point, I always envision sort of brick and mortar Lightning commerce to have the merchant generating the invoice from somehow. But with Oshi, the customer generates the invoice and pays it on their own phone and then just shows the merchant basically, and the merchant scans it or whatever and says, oh, okay, cool, you got it. And I just think that's super cool, and it takes away so much friction from the merchant, especially a merchant that might not be, well, that might be like Bitcoin curious, but doesn't want to have to run a node or a BTC Pay server, something crazy like that. Um, I just think that's really cool. And there was a Bitcoin block party, I think a month or two ago in Austin, which where the Bitcoiners got a bunch of restaurants and bars to use Oshi, and there was a huge sort of get together around it, which was pretty cool. I hope they throw another one of those because sounds like a lot of fun. A lot of stuff is happening in Austin, not gonna lie.
Yo, I'm gonna invite Kyle Murphy up if he's available. I know you might be passively listening like Michael, but there was the hackathon this weekend at Pleb Lab, the Sats by Southwest hackathon, and I'd be really interested to maybe hear at a high level what were some of the projects maybe that really had legs that, based on what you heard on the ground floor, like maybe people are going to pursue a bit further that could really come to life.
I'm sorry, were you talking to me? It kind of muted as I accepted the speaking spot.
Yeah, Kyle, yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle, what's up, dude?
What's going on? So, yeah, this past weekend we threw a hackathon. As far as some of the projects that had legs, I would say it was actually, I mean, I don't have like a lot of hackathon. I have zero hackathon experience to kind of counter it to. I've never been to a hackathon or hosted a hackathon before this weekend. But just from some of the things I heard from some of the devs who obviously have a bit more experience with hackathons than myself, it was really quite unbelievable the amounts of like high level projects that actually came out of this past weekend. I think we had 10 projects that actually presented and a handful more that were built but did not present. Of the 10 that we saw presented, there were 7 or 8 that I think really, I'm not sure people will have the time to kind of really push forward with, but if they did, I would be bullish on seeing all 7 or 8 of them kind of push forward as a potential Bitcoin company. The winner of the hackathon was a project called pleb.fm, which was like a live streaming sats kind of update for pushing music on like a jukebox style kind of thing, where it was like you could basically pick a number of sats, you could get your song pushed to the top of the queue, and you would see like a live leaderboard for music being played and streamed over the Lightning Network, which was really freaking cool.
Nice. That's exciting.
We saw some good business stuff. I know Nifty Nye and someone else were working on like Lightning, like a dashboard for kind of merchant services, which I think for things like Oshi and a handful of other businesses are going to be really powerful. One of the things that's kind of really lacking for kind of business integration is the company's ability to really track and pay attention to like what's going on in their finances. So the kind of Lightning dashboard that really showed like where money went, where money came from, um, kind of open channels and a whole host of other things in real time in like a really easy to read manner was also pretty cool.
And that was Lisa from Blockstream's project. That's she's been working on that accounting stuff for a while, so that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, she kicked it into high gear this weekend. It was pretty cool to see. I believe she's actually sitting at Pleb Lab right now, kind of continuing to work on it. So as far as projects that are pushing along forward after the hackathon, that seems to be one of them.
When you're in the groove, you're in the groove.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a good time. Yeah, it looks like we're almost to an hour. Austin Bit Devs is tomorrow. I will be there if anyone wants to say hi. I'm sure Kyle will be there.
Well, in the final minute or two, if anybody has a project that you're building that you want to shill for future people who listen to this recording, they can hear it at the end here. But if you want to raise your hand, we'll give 20 seconds or so. Raise your hand, shill maybe what you're building, tell us about it so we can follow and keep up. But otherwise, yeah, this was good to talk about and kind of hear from you, Kyle, and you too, Chad. Appreciate you jumping up and sharing some of the stuff you're working on. I'd be excited to stay updated on that. But if no one else has anything to share, just stay alert. We're going to be kind of scheduling these out, like we said at the beginning, on Wednesdays, assuming there's no conflicts. So we'll probably be running one next week on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Central, so 6 p.m. Or 5 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned. And Nate, I appreciate you hosting with us and everyone attending.
Yeah, I just want to say one last thing. We're going to be posting links to, if I can remember all the projects that we talked about today. We're going to have the Voltage Twitter tweet that out. So if you haven't followed Voltage yet, go ahead and do that. We'll have the tweet out here in a few minutes probably. But yeah, besides that, I guess we'll see you guys, we'll see everyone next week, and we'll have a topic announcement